Yes, y'all. Welcome to Archives in Motion. On this platform, we strive to stimulate your cerebral cortex. We want to dig deep into things as anime, sports. Those are pretty much the things that I will focus on: anime, sports, and maybe a few books here or there. But today we're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders. This is very interesting because I remember when Deion Sanders was drafted into the National Football League. I can't remember what year, but it was the same year as Barry Sanders. And I remember when Barry Sanders got taken by the Detroit Lions, I remember Deion Sanders was not at the draft. He was at his house, sitting on the couch with his mom and dad. And he said he said I thought I got drafted by Detroit. He said I would ask for so much money they had to put me on layaway. I remember when he said that. Deion Sanders was and is one of my all-time favorite football players. He's one of the greatest football players to ever play the game, and he's arguably the greatest football player to ever play the game. I mean, some people may say Jerry Rice, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith. People, it's subjective. People have their opinions, but in my eyes, I would say that it would either be Deion Sanders or Bo Jackson. Even though Bo Jackson didn't get to where people projected him to get in football, but man, Bo was a beast, and Deion was a beast as well. One of my other all-time favorite football players was Rod Woodson, another monster who was considered one of the greatest corners to ever play, maybe even the greatest corner to ever play the game until Deion came along. I mean, if you look at some of the records that Rod Woodson put up, it's amazing. He's the reason why I'm not even a Steelers fan, but I got a Pittsburgh Steelers starter jacket when I was younger because of Rod Woodson. He's like my favorite football player of all time. I mean, that guy was you couldn't tell me he wasn't. Now, Shedeur Sanders is Deion Sanders' son. He played for Jackson State, and he also played for the University of Colorado. Wherever he went, he won. Now, that first year in Colorado, they only won 4 games. But that second year, which was this year, they went to a bowl game. He led them to a bowl game. He didn't have a real great offensive line. So, a lot of that, they say he held the ball for 2.9 seconds, almost 3 seconds. They want to see that come down, or was it 2 point? It was either 2.9 or 2.6. But they I believe it's 2.6 actually. They said that they wanted to see that come down. That come down. They were saying he held the ball way too long. But some of that was scrambling around the pocket so he wouldn't get sacked. Now, he was considered one of the most accurate passers, if not the most accurate passer in the nation. Also threw for over 4,000 yards. Now, everybody said that Cam Ward was a better prospect. Okay, no harm, no foul there. I did not expect Shedeur Sanders to slip to the 5th round, though. I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to take him with that 21st pick in the 1st round. Okay, they didn't. They went with a D tackle, which is fine, because the D tackle they picked up is a monster. Then I saw when the Giants moved up, I was like, oh, they're gonna take Shedeur. Nah, they took Jackson Dart. Now, I'm not gonna be up here and diss Jackson Dart like I've heard some commentators that are pro Deion and pro Shedeur, which I'm pro Coach Prime and pro Shedeur. I believe that both of them are great for the game. Do I believe Shedeur can be a little bit over the top with the arrogance and things of that nature? Yes, but I'm not gonna hold that against him. I don't know much about Jackson Dart, but the Giants evaluated him, and they believe that that's their guy, that they'll have him playing behind um, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, and he'll probably do that for a year, and they'll see where they are next year. And I saw some stuff on him online where he was trying to throw a quick slant to somebody, and the ball when he went like it's like slipped out of his hands, which is look. I do routes with my son, and trust me, I've done that before. And of course, I'm not a collegiate player or an NFL player, but I had the ball like slip out my hand. It happens. But people put that out there to make them look bad. That I don't like. I don't like that at all because now you're trying to tear down Jackson Dart. Now, what I will say is I believe that Shedeur was better than the other quarterbacks that were taken before him. And if we know anything about Shedeur, Coach Prime, and any of the Sanders, they love it when you doubt him. He's going to go out there and play. And I believe he's going to beat out Kenny Pickett and the other quarterback that they drafted, the Cleveland Browns also drafted. I believe they're going to beat them out. He's going to beat them out for that backup spot because Flacco's only there for a year, just a gap quarterback. And I believe that Shedeur is going to get that backup spot. And then if he doesn't start this year, then I believe he will start next year. But I do believe he could probably get a start this year after Thanksgiving. I believe it. We're gonna see what he has, and I believe he's gonna be a good, solid quarterback. I don't know about the GOAT and all that talk people are saying, but I do believe he can be a good, solid football player in the National Football League. And I don't believe that 32 teams did him wrong. It was only about 4 or 5 teams that needed a quarterback. I thought Dallas would take him later rounds. I also thought the Raiders would take him. When the Saints didn't take him, that's when I was like, all right, when he didn't go in the first or the second round, that's when I felt like something was afoot. I was like, okay, this is personal right here. Because they said he came off as a bit arrogant in interviews, and he didn't like correction and things of that nature from what I read. Look, I believe that he's going to do well. I believe he is going to be on a tear in the league because he's been treated badly. I mean, he was done dirty, especially with that prank call. I mean, man, that was ridiculous. That prank call was unacceptable. Now, the man that does the defensive coordinator, he had nothing to do with that. That was his son, a grown man. But his son may have cost him his job. That's just bad. And the Atlanta Falcons are going to pay for that. I don't believe the man should lose his job. I believe he should be reprimanded and maybe suspended and fined, but not lose his job. But if he does lose his job, I would not shed any tears for him because that is a fireable offense. I was in the military at one point. If something like that happened to me, if I had some sensitive material and my oldest daughter got her hands on it and put it all on the internet, I'm getting kicked out. I'm getting kicked out of the United States Air Force. Oh yeah. So definitely a fireable offense, but I don't believe he should be fired. But if he does get fired, be that as it may. That was unacceptable. Shedeur Sanders did not deserve that type of treatment, like a prank call like that. Also, he didn't deserve to be made to wait to the 5th round. I believe he was a a second rounder at worst. I believed he was a first or a second rounder. And I am interested in seeing what Jackson Dart does for the New York Giants, because I'm hoping and praying that he does well, because I don't believe he deserves any of the vitriol that he's getting from some media members and some podcasters. But with that said, this is Sean P. This is Archives of Motion, and we are out.